Chapter 10 Canary Takes Flight. Midoriya had two new notebooks. One, he'd mentioned before, titled Quirk Analysis, was just that, analysis on his quirk. He'd discovered a lot of new things ever since he'd started officially practicing after school hours. Although Midoriya had yet to speak to the elusive Principal Nedzu, he had been permitted to use that sports hall for himself for 1 hour after school whenever he could, meaning Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because his dad didn't call until a little later on Friday evening anyways. Present Mike oversaw a few of them. He felt more than a little nervous singing in front of people. That was probably why the hero started timing his arrival so that he only appeared when Midoriya was in mid-song. It felt a little less awkward then. Whilst most of that notebook involved information on what a particular song could do, the most important pages at the moment were those detailing the specifics of his ability, or, more accurately, his limitations. And he'd made some very interesting discoveries in the short space of time that he'd had his quirk. He put that down to putting so much energy into researching other quirks, so when it came to his own, it was a piece of cake. Quirk name. Songbird. No. Living song? No. Music something? No. By singing a song, an ability is granted for the user to manipulate to their will whilst the song continues. The more practice put into a particular song, the longer the effects last after the song is finished, the stronger it is, and the shorter the cooldown effect is between uses. Cooldown. If an ability is used, and the song is then sang again immediately after, the quirk will not activate. The cooldown period starts as soon as the power turns off, whether that be because the song was interrupted or stopped partway through, or because the song came to an end. A new song has a cooldown length of roughly 72 hours, 3 days, which decreases slowly as the song is practiced, but there will always be some kind of cooldown. For example, the song Wings, which I have used on numerous occasions, still has a limit exceeding 24 hours, and that time span is decreasing at a much slower rate than how it began. Abilities. Abilities vary from song to song, depending on how the user interprets the song themselves. Some may think a song has a different meaning, but it relies solely on the user's opinion. Only one ability can be used per song. Mashups seem to have no effect as several songs are used at once. As soon as one song is stopped, its power stops working. Its only benefit is being able to transition quickly from one ability to another at a higher power level than just starting a new song again. The strength of an ability increases as the song progresses, following how the music swells. It's at its strongest near the end of the song and in choruses. I can use an ability if I skip straight to the chorus, but it will be weaker and the same cooldown period applies. Some songs grant the same ability, but at a slightly different power levels and have varied applications. Other songs seem to give no power at all, especially if they're super short or have few lyrics. Some just don't give power for some reason. If I don't feel a connection to the music, or dislike it in any way, shape, or form, my quirk won't activate. If I forget a lyric or do something wrong, that counts as interrupting the flow of the music and the power shuts off, the cooldown period beginning. Lingering effects. If a song ends uninterrupted or I purposely stop it at a suitable point, like when the chorus finishes, the ability the song grants can last even whilst not singing. Lingering effects cut off if I try to start using another song. The power lasts the more I practice a particular song. Affecting other people. My quirk currently has 3 directions from which it can be easily applied. Some songs work only on me, only giving me control, for example, songs with fire abilities. Only I can control the fire. Some songs affect anyone the sound reaches, excluding myself, for example, sleeping songs. It works as long as the sound reaches them, so plugging ears doesn't help. Some songs affect everyone including myself, such as strength-enhancing abilities. I believe I will have more control over this with more practice. For example, I might be able to focus a power onto only one person even whilst others are listening. This has only worked once before, where I was able to make a song which should have affected everyone but me, given the ability only to myself. Granted, it wasn't very useful and I fell asleep, but that doesn't matter. My quirk doesn't work through recordings or amplifiers. If I use a microphone, anyone who is close to me is still affected, but people who are far away enough so that they can only hear because of the amplification are not affected. If you use too many songs in a short time span, you will be fatigued. It seemed confusing at first. Well, there was rather a lot of information on it written down here, but once you read through it, it became clear that much of the information was simply repeated in several different scenarios, and, in actual fact, there was a certain simplicity to Midoriya's quirk, but perhaps that was something only he could see. It was his power, after all. He still felt giddy just thinking about that. But Midoriya had 2 notebooks. We're just going to ignore the other 13 hero analysis notebooks and focus on these two. The other notebook he had dubbed his panic book. Why? Well, that would be because he turned to it when he panicked. Another reason would be because everything he did now resolving Canary turned into a panic. The third and final reason was that it was what Aozora called it when she saw him jotting stuff down in it as he sat nervously in the waiting room before his second show. On the very first page of the notebook, he had written a to-do list. It was rather high-aiming, but he hadn't planned on anyone ever seeing the inside of this notebook, so that fact didn't apply. 1. Practice and analyze your quirk until you know it as much as anyone who might have had their quirk for 10 years would, i.e., like an ordinary person. 2. Gain your confidence on the radio until you are able to talk without hesitation on air. 3. Convert that confidence to real life so talking to ordinary people in reality isn't a challenge. 4. Take that confidence a step further so you can happily sing without anxiety issues. 5. Tell Shinso. 6. Take part in the sports festival. 7. Make a good enough impression to allow you to be offered a place in the hero course. 8. Transfer to the hero course. Yes, number 5 was rather important. He also might have to consider moving that number up the list. Something he had not predicted, although probably should have, was how popular the character of Canary would really end up being. "Hey, Canary!" Aozora yelled. Midoriya looked up from his notebook. He was perched on the armchair nestled in the furthest corner of the room. If he was going to be staying here, then that armchair would be his, no questions asked. "Present Mike's just put the song on. You're on in 3 minutes and counting. Get your feathers in there," she finished, talking rather loudly because her headphones were still over her head as she bobbed side to side to whatever tune was drifting across the radio. Midoriya took a deep breath, something he often found himself doing before big events, and stood up, leaving his things on a pile surrounding his armchair. It was already starting to resemble a bird's nest, and Canary had only claimed the space less than half an hour ago. Present Mike did a celebratory spin in his chair when Midoriya entered the room. He was in his hero costume this time, most likely because he had to wear it at UA and hadn't taken it off yet. Midoriya still wasn't too sure how to handle himself in the studio, how much noise he was supposed to be making, where he could go, what he could touch without ruining the entire show. This was why he was as quiet as he could be, almost tiptoeing across the room towards the same chair he chose last time. He could never be too careful. "How are you feeling, my little listener?" "Wait, no, you're really not a little listener anymore, are you? Let's make that my little co-host until I can find a better alliteration, huh?" The hero laughed. I'm fine," Midoriya stammered as he sat down. "You don't sound fine," Present Mike retorted. He was pointing at him, his finger so close to Midoriya's nose despite the width of the table that it was almost touching it. "You sound all panicked again. Where's the happy Canary we left off with last time, huh?" Midoriya gave him a meek smile. Sometimes I hear people talking about me, and I know all those people are going to be listening today, and I'm really worried that maybe they won't like me anymore, and so just end up being one big disaster, and I'm going to mess up, and... Whoa, Present Mike interrupted. "You're going to give yourself a panic attack, and no one wants that." Midoriya's hands were shaking as he fiddled with the headphones that were laid out before him. He wasn't sure if he was more nervous the second time around as he'd been the first, but either way, what he was feeling was certainly far from good. "You're not going to mess up," continued Present Mike. He had adopted his calmer voice, the one he used when addressing panicked civilians and, more often than not, Midoriya. He'd come to recognize it well now. "People like you for being you, so you don't need to worry about messing up, because there's nothing to mess up. We're going to do exactly what we did last time, so there's no need to fear, alright? The only difference is we've actually got some questions lined up and a bit more of a plan. Just follow my lead and I promise you'll do absolutely great." Midoriya let a smile creep back over his face. "You know, I've got a stellar way to deal with anxiety for those who have a bit of a problem with it," the hero told him. Midoriya blinked up at him. He took that as an expression of interest. "Turn your fear into excitement," he said dramatically. "Think about all these negative emotions that you're feeling and say, hey, you know what? It doesn't have to be negative. Say, I'm not shaking because I'm nervous. I'm shaking because I'm excited. I'm excited to begin. To get this over with. Whatever floats your boat." He frowned at his teacher. Well, like his mother had said, here, in the radio station, he wasn't Izuku. He was Canary. Izuku may be nervous, but Canary could be excited. Perhaps separating the two wasn't the best idea, but for now, it was a way forward, and Midoriya was running rather thin on those. Midoriya's smile grew a bit wider. "Oh, okay." Present Mike clapped his hands. "There he is. There's the canary I was waiting for. Just keep being you and roll with it. Put your headphones on, songbird. Listen to the end of this song with me, and then we can start. Present Mike's radio show, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1830 to 1930. Canary's Hour. Present Mike. Yeah! A brief moment of silence follows. Present Mike. Can I get a yeah from Canary? Canary. Yay? Present Mike. This is becoming routine, and you know what? We're gonna stick with it. Anyway, a big fat welcome to our new official segment of Put Your Hands Up Radio. We talked about it earlier, but here we are. Welcome to Canary's Hour. Canary. Wait, really? Present Mike. Yes. Canary. It's named after me? Present Mike. Well, you are the whole reason we're doing it. Canary. Thank you? Present Mike. Why are you saying thank you? A faint squeal is heard. Canary. Why are you so loud? Present Mike's howling laughter can be heard, most likely quieted from the original volume. Canary. He's really loud. I've been listening to his radio show for forever, and I don't know why, but I didn't expect him to be so loud in real life. Present Mike continues to laugh uncontrollably. Canary. Of course, the volume's all changed on your end of the radio, but here I can still hear how loud he is. And I keep reaching up to my ears to cover them with my hands, but then the headphones are in the way, and I press them closer to my face, and it gets even louder, and it's just a vicious circle of decibels, really. A moment of silence is endured as Present Mike recovers. Canary, are you okay? Present Mike sighs loudly. Present Mike. He looks like a little ball of sunshine, but in reality, he has a cruel side. I feel like we're bringing out the worst in him. But then, I remember he's Canary, and he'll never change. Canary, tell us a fact. Canary. Did you know the loudest sound ever recorded was the explosion of the volcano Krakatoa in 1883? Present Mike. That was a very quick response. I guess you were already thinking about that already? Canary. Uh-huh. Apparently, the sound traveled around the world 4 times and ruptured the eardrums of people standing over 40 miles away. Present Mike. Huh. How many decibels does it need to burst eardrums? Canary. Shouldn't you know that? Present Mike. Of course I do. But, you know everything, so I was just checking if you knew. Canary. I don't know everything. Like how loud a sound needs to be to burst your eardrums, for instance. Present Mike. Well, then looks like we're moving on. Canary. Wait. But isn't it a bit of a problem that you don't know how loud you can? Present Mike. We have some questions to get to. Canary. But I have a question. Present Mike. You don't need to raise your hand. And if it's about noise, I don't want to hear it. A brief moment of silence follows. Present Mike. Yeah, you lower that hand. Anyway, as I said, we still have plenty of questions from your wonderful listeners from last Thursday and the time in between. So, we thought we could start off with our first official Canary's Hour with a Canary questionnaire. Canary, we are? Present Mike. Yes. So, if Canary could kindly turn on his screen, yes, that one, you will see your list of questions. Canary, are we answering all of these? Present Mike. Probably not. Canary. Oh, okay. Do I just pick one or? Present Mike. Pick and click. Canary. Okay, I'll just click on something random then. Present Mike. Our first question then. Canary. So, is this from Twitter or? Present Mike. We get most of our questions from social media. We should set you up an account. Actually, let's do that on air in a minute. That would be great. Canary. Oh, okay. But, this question is from White Wave. Present Mike. And they say, from someone who's bad at peopling, my new favorite phrase, you sound like if a puppy got turned into a human being. Ha! Distant, barely audible squeak can be heard. Present Mike. He's doing that thing now where he goes really red and curls up in a ball. And there he goes. Yep, he's turned his chair away from me. Right. White Wave's question, getting to the point, is, can you sing? Is your Quirk really good pitch? Well, little listener, that is a good hypothesis. However, even though that would be cool, I can't say how it could be useful in heroics. Canary. Canary.
Pitch control would be really cool.
Depending on how well you could manipulate it. If you go high enough and are able to direct your voice, you could do things like shatter glass and knock people out. And that would be awesome, but I can't do that. Present Mike. But he can sing. And really well. And he's returned to the ball. Canary. The next question is from Lil Gnome. And they ask how old you are. Are you happy with saying that on air? Undistinguishable muttering is heard. Present Mike, can we repeat that? Canary, I think I'll just let you guess. I'm either in my second or first year at UA. Present Mike, let's have one more question before our next song then. Canary, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so sorry if it's wrong, but Drikeno? Is that right? You asked, how would you describe Presentation Michael as a teacher? Present Mike, I'm not liking where this is going. Canary, well, firstly, loud. Present Mike, and we've gone in a full circle. Canary, secondly, I'm just deciding what is a good idea to say now that he's sitting opposite me. Present Mike, and what's that supposed to mean? Canary, he's very charismatic. Moment of silence. Present Mike, I'm not sure how that is an insult, but I bet it is. Right, song. We're going to go to a song before he rats out all of my teaching secrets. Canary, there was a paper airplane stuck in his hair for our entire lesson the other day. He didn't even notice. Present Mike, cue the music. Present Mike was smiling because Midoriya was smiling. It was infectious. See, Yamada began. What did I tell you? Everyone loves you. Midoriya took off his headphones, still smiling broadly as he glanced at the remaining questions on his screen. And there were a lot of them. I didn't tell you earlier because I didn't want you to freak out more than you were already, he continued. That got Midoriya's attention, making him look up in surprise, his smile quickly fading. Don't worry, it's a good thing. We've got a very high listener count today. I'm talking way more than what was on last Thursday. And they're here because they want to hear you. And judging by the fact the number isn't going down but instead steadily increasing, I would say you're giving them exactly what they want. The smile crept back across his face. Thank you. For what? For giving me a chance. And being so nice to me. Even before I had a quirk, I've never had a teacher who has put this much time and effort into helping me, he admitted, twisting back and forth in his chair, avoiding Yamada's gaze. He didn't say anything for a moment, processing Midoriya's words. He hadn't really put much thought into Midoriya's past before, but then it clicked. He was mute because he was quirkless. People saw the small, quirkless boy and wrote him off before he had a chance to show him he was so much more than his condition. He was smart, kind, funny. He had a big brain and an even bigger heart, if that were possible. But despite all that, no one had really cared before. And so, the kid must have fell silent, slipped into the shadows, unnoticed. Perhaps it was even worse than that. He could have done it on purpose, as a way of avoiding the attention. Maybe it wasn't just the dance lessons that made him excellent at evading dodgeballs. Midoriya wasn't the first kid he'd brought with him on the radio. There had been a few in the past who needed a little confidence boost. Several refused the offer, but the ones who took it up were rather thankful for it. Despite all that, though, none had been quite so popular with the radio's audience than Canary. Aozora was right. It wasn't just his personality. People liked his story. They were eager to see what he would become. Present Mike felt the same way, but he also couldn't help but think about what could have happened had he not gone and spoken to Midoriya that day in the sports hall, had Midoriya never even discovered his quirk. What would have happened to him? What would his future have looked like? Present Mike, sir? Yamada blinked. Sorry there, co-host. Got lost in my own world for a second, he smiled fondly. Screw him. He was very guilty of favoritism. Then again, one could say he just wanted to give Midoriya as good a shot at life as everyone else had, or maybe a little beyond that. Hey, plus ultra. You're a really good kid, Canary. Awesome quirk or no, you're gonna make an amazing hero. Midoriya's smile wobbled a little. Thanks, Cockatoo. Oh, I'm Cockatoo again now, am I? He rubbed his eyes, laughing and nodding. Well then, I accept my fate. Present Mike. And welcome back, Canary. Yay! Present Mike stifles his laughter. Present Mike. What is with the yay? Anyway, I thought we'd shake things up a bit. Canary. Oh no. Present Mike. Oh yes! Here's the deal, listeners. You're gonna pick up your phones and call us in. One of my lovely friends in the control room. Canary. That makes it sound like we're in a rocket launch. Present Mike. Well, who knows with your quirk? Canary. Yeah, true. Present Mike. We're just gonna leave that there and confuse you all. You'll find out what his quirk really is at the sports festival. Canary. I'm terrified. Present Mike. You'll be fine. Canary. Well, everyone knows my quirks to do with singing. So, what if it doesn't quite work for some reason? I could be standing in the middle of the arena singing and my quirk doesn't activate and I'll just look like an idiot. Present Mike. Don't be so pessimistic. Canary, I would say that was me being optimistic enough to even assume I even made it to the tournament round. President Mike, okay, we're going to go to the caller before Canary digs himself into a pessimistic pit. Canary, a what? President Mike, okay, the number to call in is 5550100. Canary, that was very fast. President Mike, you say it then. Canary, 5550100. President Mike, 5550100. A brief moment of silence follows. Canary, what? President Mike, cue the ringtone. The ringtone dial is heard. Canary, but wait, if they're calling us, why is there a ringtone? President Mike, don't question my logic. Listener, hello? President Mike, yeah, you, little listener, have made it all the way to Put Your Hands Up Radio. Listener, yay, oh my gosh, this is cool. President Mike, say hi, Canary. Canary, hi? A faint squeal is heard. Listener, hi, I'm Cooney. President Mike, nice to meet ya, Cooney. Where are you in this exact moment? Listener, Cooney, oh, I'm on the train, going to my friend's house. President Mike, that explains the rumbling noise. Anyway, do you have a question for us, Cooney? Listener, Cooney, sure, hi again, Canary. Canary, hi. Listener, Cooney, I was wondering, if you're aiming to be a hero, what kind of hero do you want to be in particular? President Mike, oh, that's a good question. Listener, Cooney, thank you. So, like, underground or rescue, or, I'm aiming for rescue myself, and I totally wouldn't mind having a sweet little burb like you as a co-worker. President Mike, aw, what do you say, burb? Canary, well, I don't really know. I guess it depends on how I use my quirk. I'm not sure if underground would work out too well. I think it might be difficult sneaking up on someone while singing. Listener, Cooney, oh yeah, that's a good point. Canary, but bearing in mind I'm not actually on the hero course. President Mike, yet. Canary, yeah. President Mike, anyway, a big thanks to Canary for phoning in. Listener, Canary, oh my gosh, seriously, thank you so much for having me. President Mike, you have a song suggestion for us while we're here? Listener, Canary, Rocket Man by Elton John. Canary, that was because of earlier, wasn't it? Listener, Canary, yep. Oh, and before I go, I'm sure you do really well in the sports festival. I'll be rooting for you. Canary, thank you. President Mike, goodbye, Canary. Listener, Canary, bye. Canary, goodbye. President Mike, but before we play that wonderful suggestion, we have another number to read out. Canary, oh yeah. President Mike, our hero hotline is a wonderful number that you can call if you need help. Of course, the real emergency number is obviously the priority, but if your problem is a bit more of a delicate situation, ring us up, and we'll help you out the best we can. Even if it's not an immediate emergency, or you're having some tricky mental health dilemmas, we'll do the best we can to give you the support you need. And Canary is here with the number. Canary, it's 5550119. President Mike, did you just say that from memory? Canary, maybe. President Mike, that was 5550119. And with that, to the rocket ship. Before long, the radio show had come to an end, and with the final song put on for all to hear, Midoriya took off his headphones, wandered out of the studio, and collapsed into his newly claimed armchair in a heap. President Mike laughed as he exited after him, turning off the lights inside the studio as he went. This was President Mike's private place. After his shows were over for the night, his other co-workers on the floor below them would take over for late-night broadcasts. President Mike was a hero, a radio presenter, and a teacher. He knew how to manage his time to ensure that everything got done, but consequently, some things were sacrificed. One of those being not hosting Put Your Hands Up Radio 24/7. Someone's a little tired, Aozora laughed. She was doing paperwork on one of the sofas near Midoriya, whilst Nakano continued to manage the logistics of the end of the show, likely passing controls over to the news station. It's just been a long time since I've done so much talking, Midoriya admitted, feeling his throat gingerly. It hadn't been so bad the Thursday before, but all this radio show business was really starting to get to his poorly used voice box. Then I have just the thing for you, President Mike cried. He disappeared as Midoriya cautiously removed his hands from his ears once more, only for him to return, moments later, at an equally high volume. Here you go, Canary! He had thrown a small bag into Midoriya's lap. Frowning, Midoriya carefully undid the drawstring and looked inside. Throat lozenges? Not just any throat lozenges, ones that actually tasted nice. Aozora pulled a mockingly shocked face. Honestly, though, they're amazing. They work super well. Aozora, why are you here? Midoriya questioned as he unraveled one of the lozenges. I thought you had your own office. Yeah, but you're here, and I wanted to see you. Midoriya couldn't suppress his smile as he put the lozenge in his mouth. President Mike was right. They actually did taste nice. You can keep that bag if you want, he offered. I have many. For medicinal uses only, not just because you eat them like sweets, Nakano insisted as he finished up his work. Yes, of course, President Mike nodded, waving off the comment. Midoriya smiled as he packed his various things away, checking his pocket for his orange keycard. Thank you all for everything, he said for the 100th time as he almost skipped towards the elevator. Bye-bye, Canary, Azor called out as the elevator doors closed. And if you say thank you one more time, I swear I will. She didn't get to finish that sentence, and Midoriya's mind was left to comedically finish it as he wandered home. He left via the front door, as no one seemed to be outside to see him go, and particularly ran all the way to the train station, eager to get home to his mother's cooking. She had promised katsudon.